Well, guys, it's time for another pivotal earnings call for PayPal stock. And with PayPal once again being in massive decline, can this management team give us numbers that will save us from falling down into the oblivion? So let's talk about what actually matters on these earnings, and I'll give you my exact plan for PayPal stock. But I also have one massive concern that we will discuss as well too that you got to understand, especially as a PayPal shareholder. I know it's been pain for a long time, but if you don't understand this concern, guess what? You could be in for a lot more pain. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype. So let's discuss my top 3 things I'm looking for on this earnings and then jump into the one big concern with this earnings that I have. And then I'll tell you my exact plan for PayPal stock as well. So here are my top 3 things I'm watching for on this earnings. Yeah, I got it, guys. I know there's a lot more than that, but let's focus on the top 3 right here, especially with PayPal, because man, been a long journey so far. Let's get into the first one. Have they been executing share buybacks? All right, when the price is cheap on a stock like it is right now and has been for PayPal, and you have billions of dollars authorized to do share buybacks, that is the time to buy back shares. And that is absolutely what I expect to see from PayPal stock. As a matter of fact, I hope that that number is quite large. I hope they've expended a lot of the shares that they're allowed to buy back this particular quarter. Now, just kind of for a reference or kind of as a further example, Palantir also has buybacks on as well, but you aren't getting a lot of bang for your buck over there. So I hope that Palantir hasn't really used them that much, obviously, because you're paying a much higher price from Palantir than you were just 6 months ago. And so obviously you're getting a lot less bang for your buck there. But for PayPal, they should be buying back shares like crazy at these prices. So hopefully the management team is doing that because it will help those EPS numbers in the future, which, as we know, that is the main focus, is increasing that EPS number, increasing profits in the end. And the cheaper the shares, the more they can take off the table and continue to juice that EPS number in the future. That's why a lot of stocks, Apple is a great example of a stock that has continued to push its EPS up, which of course continued to increase its valuation for years, based more on share buybacks, or a lot based on share buybacks versus actual profitability of the company and everything else. Now you can imagine if they have another hit product mixed in with those buybacks, woo, boy, you're talking about another all of a sudden valuation reset on Apple and all of a sudden another big run happening. So the management team executing on those share buybacks whenever you have cheap shares is critical. And also, what else is critical is if you're serious about your investing and you want to work directly with me, make sure you take advantage of the earnings flash sale that is ending soon. It's the pinned comment down there. We'll talk a lot more about it at the end, but we need to get on to number 2, and that is, what is the impact of the tariffs? So as we've already seen with this earnings season, the tariffs have caused many companies to either adjust guidance down, or they have just basically pulled their guidance until they have more clarity. They make that very, very clear in their earnings call that, hey, we really can't, we're going to pull our guidance. Hey, we know we told you at the beginning of the year we thought this, but hey, now we got this situation here with the tariffs, and until we have more clarity on what those numbers are going to be, hey, we got to kind of suspend our guidance until we get that. Now, obviously, PayPal doesn't have the same issues that, like basically an Amazon or a Walmart, for example, may have around tariffs. But are they seeing or projecting a trickle-down effect or not from businesses like those and other businesses involved that use and operate with PayPal? That right there could be a huge negative, right? All of a sudden we start seeing Walmart and Amazon and everybody else going down there. That may mean something's happening with their business, kind of that trickle-down effect. Now, on the flip side of that, are there new initiatives moving and creating opportunities that many may be jumping to use those, basically doing it a lot sooner than they planned to kind of help offset some of the tariff pain or maybe some of the potential pain that may be coming from tariffs? That is possible and would be a huge win for PayPal. Now, I don't think that's as likely, but it is possible. It's kind of like it seems like Palantir is seeing business increase as everyone expects some sort of margin compression, and folks are accelerating plans to offset that compression, which has benefited Palantir so far. Now, obviously, we have to wait until Palantir's earnings to see, is it just kind of a net or is it a net positive? We don't know. We won't know any of that until their earnings call, but it's definitely a possibility out there. Do customers who are using the new tools that PayPal has put out there or potentially thinking about using them see them as more necessary as they try to navigate the potential impacts of a trade war and everything else going on around the tariffs and everything else? What management says their client base is doing will give us a lot of color on what the impact will be for PayPal. It could be positive, that could be negative, But hopefully management gives us some color on what exactly their clients are all seeing and what that impact is on PayPal. So on to the last thing that matters, and this one will determine the future stock price we are going to get. So it is massive. And that is EPS guidance still on course or better? Or did it get worse? Now, Alex has preached that he wants to be far more profitable and focus less on customer growth and a lot of the past metrics that management team focused on. As a matter of fact, they pulled a lot of the past metrics out of the earnings deck altogether because they don't want the focus to be there. They want the focus to be on profitability. So are we still, after the beginning of this year, on track? That's kind of the first question there. Have some of the things moved better than expected, and maybe that EPS number would be moved up? Or are we seeing the impact from the tariffs and maybe it's a negative impact and that number is going to get adjusted down or suspended? If it actually shows some improved margins, and of course that would obviously translate to profits down to the bottom line, it's going to be a huge win. If not though, then it means we have a longer time to wait before Wall Street gets behind the stock. And of course, it just means more, really, what we've been getting for the past year plus in PayPal, which is what we call it there in the group a lot of the times. We're going to get more PayPal as opposed to PayPal or Great Pal or whatever other adjective you want to put in there for it. Doesn't matter. That right there is going to basically determine what we're in for over the next quarter. So what is my big concern with PayPal? Well, it's if once again, the folks on Wall Street don't understand what Alex is trying to do and they focus on customer growth only. It's stupid, it's dumb, and it's so short-sighted, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit if a lot of analysts out there on Wall Street still hold that belief. I said from the start that his vision, his change in the company, the turnaround in PayPal that I do believe that they will reach is not going to be a straight line up like Meta's was. Their turnaround was completely different where they didn't need to endure any pain to really turn around. All he had to do was get his head out of the metaverse, quit playing stupid games, quit paying, people $250,000 to sit at home and do nothing for, a year plus on end because they didn't really have a job. Basically focus on the business, pay attention to your business a little bit, quit lighting money on fire, and all of a sudden, bang, it's massively profitable again and moving in the right direction. Unfortunately, that's not true with PayPal. They can't do it that way. And unfortunately, Wall Street is still viewing, some on Wall Street, it's not everybody on Wall Street, but a lot on Wall Street are still viewing PayPal through that old lens, through a lens that was very, very, helpful and useful in 2010, 2015. It's really pretty much useless today. And not everybody has come around to that yet. You've seen Netflix kind of move away from that a little bit and start focusing much more on profitability and a lot of other things of that nature. And it's worked out very, very well. Now, obviously, PayPal is not executed nearly as well as Netflix has. I'm not making the two in regards to execution. I'm just pointing out the difference. And it used to be that Netflix used to move strictly on subscriber numbers. And it was just, hey, subscribers are up. Didn't matter if profits were down. Everything's good to go. Well, people figured out, you start throwing in advertising and a lot of other business lines within, multiple tiers on Netflix and everything else. And obviously it becomes much more complex than just simply user count being the end all be all data point for everybody to look at. But for PayPal, not everybody has jumped over to that ship yet. So it's definitely a concern that even if we get great earnings, great guidance, great everything moving forward, some may still hold just onto that little metric right there and treat that as a negative and not give PayPal the respect that it deserves if they have a great earnings call. So what is my plan for PayPal? All right, well, I already have a ton of PayPal stock. It's just one of those stocks that we've been able to add for so long at such cheap prices. At some point in time, you're just like, gosh, I think there are companies out there, not that PayPal is executing poorly, but that are just better discounts and better deals right now that I feel are executing better. And so for me, I'm probably going to add a little bit, but it's going to be smaller batch of shares. I don't need to add massive amounts. I already have a position built out plus some. So I might very well buy more depending upon what I hear on the call, especially if we hear a lot of great things and, guidance moved up and everything else moved up, but then the stock gets beaten down. Okay, I might very well add some more then. But there may be many other stocks that may be a better use of my capital during this time, given all the chaos around the market right now and some of the great deals on great stocks we've been getting. Hey, if this was a different time, maybe earlier in the year where stocks were all flying high to the moon, and PayPal will still beat down. Okay, might very well make sense to add a little bit more there. But in my particular case right now, there are so many great deals on great stocks. I've already allocated enough money to PayPal. I really want to buy up some more of those great deals other places for now. And if you're serious about investing the right way and you want to work directly with me, Make sure you take advantage of the earnings flash sale that ends soon, where you get direct access to me. You get 5 courses, you get your free coaching, you get to be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there. I put out 2, 3, 4 videos a week on all kinds of topics that I can't talk about here on YouTube. Obviously, earnings, as soon as they happen, I try to get out a video as quick as possible for all the stocks I own. Complete watch list with price targets, all my buy and sell alerts. Guys, there's so much involved in the group. Check out the pinned comment, see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.